the Sportscast. Early December, December 9. If you haven't yet, please subscribe in all our channels, YouTube, Periscope, and Apple Podcasts. And if you're on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, please leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. And, of course, visit us on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. And our Periscope, please follow. And you can listen to us live on DAB Digital Radio on the Sportscast app. And also on our website, thesportscast.net, for the latest and greatest in news. This episode is brought to you by the Sportscast app. You could get it. You could get it at the Apple Podcast. The Champions League Matchday 6 is completed. The group stage is also completed. A few surprises and a few obvious ones. And today we have a special guest all the way from Oregon. We are friends with a lot of people from Oregon. Francisco Flores from On the Counter podcast, a huge soccer podcast in the country. Francisco, welcome to the Sportscast.
How's it going? Well, thank you for that welcome, Santiago. It is an honor to be named the biggest soccer podcast in the nation. Sources to be confirmed.
It should be, and I think it will be. You guys, I started following you guys back in July. You have a lot of insight, stuff that I don't get from like The Guardian or from TalkSport or from like the Daily Mail, but you guys do a lot of digging in there.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. It's good to hear some positive feedback because we get a lot of hate and we get a lot of pushback because, you know, we say what's on our mind, we say how we feel, and we talk about the soccer, how we see it, and no filter included at all.
And tell us how you guys started with the podcast. Tell us, I mean, a little bit about yourself and your soccer past, and tell us how you started the podcast.
Yeah, so I'll start with my soccer past. So I've been basically playing soccer my whole life since, you know, I could remember 4 years old. The first thing I ever got was a soccer ball as a present, as a birthday present. And so ever since then, I've liked the sport, playing it, watching it, talking about it, you know, whatever it is. I went to high school and I played soccer there. Fortunately, it wasn't good enough to go to collegiate level. I mean, we already know how it is here. Soccer wise, you know, it's very hard. It's very pay to play. You know, if your parents don't have the money, then you don't get into the good teams. And that's basically how it worked out for me. Got to play high school soccer and then eventually went to Oregon State, which is where I met Drew. And he is the creator and the co-host of On the Counter podcast. And it was started about 2 years ago with Drew and a different guy. And I joined about in September of 2019. And I've been helping it grow, you know, on Twitter, social media wise, and YouTube. That's basically what we've been trying to push is our YouTube channel at On the Counter podcast.
Which is interesting because you kind of cover the leagues that I like to cover. Is the Premier League, like the Champions League, La Liga as well. No MLS, which I am actually okay with, by the way.
Yeah, we try to stick to the biggest leagues, mainly Premier League. That's kind of our big focus. But also another thing we do is, you know, since Drew he likes to push like the whole American narrative. I mean, he is right, but since I'm Mexican, you know, he does his little episode series where he talks about the Americans and how well they're doing in Europe and whatnot, and then I talk about the Mexicans that are in Europe and whatnot. So that's kind of another thing we're trying to lay on people. You know, we do, you know, throw out there like we are American Soccer Talk After Dark, you know, and we throw the American in there, but I try to throw a little bit of, you know, the Mexican side in there, and just so we can get a little bit of variety and we're not just focusing, you know, on one side. And so, yeah, you know, I think that ends up bringing in other content, which is Liga MX, and we try to do like Liga MX in English, which is not really, you know, not a lot of people talk about Liga MX in English, which is kind of a little niche, you know, market that we're trying to break into as well. It's a little hard because it's already been established. Like there's already tons of other Twitter accounts that do it, but you know, I still make my series. I'm up to episode number 25, so that's 25 weeks straight that I've been doing it, just covering Mexicans in abroad in Europe.
Good point. Your podcast does bring a balance to what like American soccer is. I think a lot of people watch Liga MX, which has the highest ratings in soccer for television. For all you sportscast listeners, which are mostly college football listeners, Liga MX is probably the highest TV ratings in North America. And then, of course, you got probably the Premier League over the MLS, but I have to look at those numbers first.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd say it is.
Most likely. I mean, there's a reason why NBC paid $1 billion for those TV rights.
Yeah, exactly.
So your podcast definitely brings that balance. Is what I like to listen. I don't. Anyways, our time is our enemy today. So we'll start with the Champions League, Group A: Francisco, Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, Salzburg, and Lokomotiv Moscow. Let's go for the scores. Atletico Madrid. They beat Salzburg. What do you think about this Atletico team? Are they a force to be reckoned with?
As a fan of La Liga, and I don't like to say that I prefer Premier League over a certain league, but my love is La Liga and Real Madrid, so I'm a little bit biased with La Liga and the Spanish teams. So this Atletico team has came out of nowhere. Every year we know that they set up defensively, that they're going to be out here trying to get clean sheets with El Cholismo, with Cholo, Simone, and his style. I think what he has done this season with João Felix is sort of adapted a little bit, changing a little bit, and let him, because I think they finally are at the point where they can say, okay, this is the guy who's going to lead. We're going to have to build around him, João Felix. So I think they have a good shot at not just the Champions League, but also in the Liga, because right now they're in first place. I think it's a 1-point lead, but they got 2 games in hand. And, with that motivation of being on top of the league and doing well in Champions League, I think they have a pretty good shot at it.
Bayern Munich, top of the group, 16 points, defending champions. Francisco, at this point, do you see them repeating, or do you think they'll find a challenge somewhere then?
For Bayern?
Yes.
Is that what you said? Yeah, Bayern.
Bayern Munich.
Well, at the beginning of the season, that my prediction was Bayern to repeat.
I remember
in Champions League. And I think I'm going to stick with it. Obviously from today's game, it was a rotation squad, and they were already through, so it wasn't really taken that seriously. But I think what's his name, the coach? I can't remember, but the Bayern coach, Hansi, right? Hansi Flick.
I will look it up. I know it's kind of complicated. It's not as easy as Jochen Loeb.
I think that's his name. But he's done a good job with this team, and I think he gets
Hans-Dieter Flick.
Yeah, okay, and he's got a good base, and yeah, I think why not? Bayern, they pretty much have that same foundation as last season, so I can't see why they can't repeat, and I'm gonna stick with my choice. I'm a Madrid fan, but yeah, I sometimes got to be real.
Speaking about Madrid, they won Group B, had a win today against Borussia Mönchengladbach, 2-0. This Madrid team has been criticized. Zidane's job was in the line a couple of weeks ago, apparently. Benzema is old but still scoring goals. What are your thoughts about Madrid so far, and what is their prospects for this tournament?
Well, first I want to say it surprises me how much of an influence Sergio Ramos has on this team. Like when Ramos is in the team and when he's not, Varane is a completely different player, and that honestly kind of scares me a little bit, because as much as Ramos is, a gladiator and a rock, and he's consistent, he's doesn't really get injured, doesn't really get out, but when we obviously need him, and it's pretty evident, we lost the matches where he wasn't playing, and we won the matches where he was playing. So I think that's pretty obvious. And, I think going forward, with the getting swept by Shakhtar and whatnot, and how things, ended up going, and going to the last match, I think there's a good place there to kind of reevaluate, take things in with the team and be like, all right, what do we actually want to do? Take Zidane into the staff room and be like, okay, with the team, take a meeting. How far do we want to get? What do we believe in ourselves? Do we think we could win this? And I think that's going to be what's going to set them apart, this season. And if that doesn't happen, then I don't want to say it, but I fear an early exit, man, because you can't do that in the next stage. You can't. There's no second chance. There's no, oh, okay, well, we'll wait till the next game. It's 2 games, right? But it's not over a series of 6 matches. Like there's no point schedule. There's no, you got to be out there. You got to beat that team. Whoever it is that you're gonna face. Going top of the group is gonna help because we were gonna be put up against a second place team. So hopefully it's someone who can give us a challenge, but also we can beat.
Sticking with Madrid, how do you see Zidane? I know that his job was on the line a few weeks ago, or was rumored. Do you think he's still the right man for the job?
Yeah, I fully back Zidane. I like him as a manager. I like him as a person. As a motivator, as a player. Obviously, he was world class, and everybody knows Zidane as a player, obviously. And yeah, I fully back him. I don't think his job was ever on the line. I think that was just the media, trying to get some clickbait in there. I think Florentino backs him, and hopefully here in the winter he backs him with a player or two that we're able to strengthen this squad as well.
And of course, lastly, Inter tied Shakhtar Donetsk. Inter came in last, 6 points. Team that we thought that might go to the next round. What happened with Inter this time around?
Well, I think it was those two really bad performances they had against Real Madrid. Both games they just didn't show up, and I think they'll be really disappointed, especially Conte. I think he's been trying to really get this team to work well together, to do things, change players up, find things to tweak and whatnot to try to get results. And yeah, they just weren't able to get a result in any of those Madrid games. And I think Mönchengladbach, I think, beat them once. And I just. It was just a bad result from them. I thought they were doing well in the Serie A, and with Lukaku and getting him back to goal scoring form and trying to find the players that he could play with. And yeah, I thought they were going to get in. I'm pretty sure I put Madrid and Inter for those two.
Yeah, everyone thought Inter back in the day, but I guess things didn't come through. Group C, Man City tops the group with 16 points. Porto, Olympiacos, and Olympique Marseille. Man City beat Marseille 3-0. This Man City team, they want to win the Champions League. Can they do it, Francisco?
They want to win it so bad, so bad. To be honest, I'm not the biggest Pep fan. I'm not the biggest fan of the way he sets up his teams, of this just get the ball and don't let your opponent have it. And not because it's not a good style. Obviously, it is. He's won 2 Premier League titles with it. But that's just Madrid bias. He coached Barcelona, so I'm not gonna like Pep. Never have, never will.
Yeah,
but no, more seriously, I think Man City, they're not being able to have Aguero, not being able to have Jesus, not being able to have a striker, and then trying to find players that do play well in the striker position. And all this rotation, I think, is not good for them. There isn't really consistency in the lineups. Anybody could be the starting 11 from one week to another with Pep. I mean, they call him the bald fraud. I don't know if you know the nickname.
I had no idea.
Yeah, they call him the bald fraud because he always, in the press conferences, will say, "I'm going to start these guys," and then he ends up with a whole different starting 11, or he lies about the guys he's going to play. But yeah, I don't really have much confidence in Man City winning the whole thing.
Porto defeated Olympiacos 2-0. What do you think about this Porto team?
I like Porto a lot, actually. I'm a big fan of Tecatito, obviously, Corona, winger, right back, right midfielder, pretty much plays anywhere on the right side. And I think it was in the summer after Porto had won the league. I was like, this is going to be the team to look out for in Champions League, the surprise team. But it didn't really work out that way. I think, obviously they still made it through, but they haven't been playing in the same, they're not as explosive as they were last season. They were pretty much ripping everyone apart in Portugal, no problem, 5-4-0. And haven't really seen that from them in Champions League. So yeah, it's not really playing out well, but the way that I thought, but well done for Porto to make it through. They have really good really good base. They also have really good what is it called? They bring up a lot of young players as well from Portugal, and they're just a factory. They produce, they bring in new guys, and then they sell them. And so yeah, I like Porto.
Let's look on to Group D. My team, Liverpool, finished up top, 13 points. Atalanta at 11, Ajax at 7, and Midtjylland at 2. Atalanta defeated Ajax 1-0. Now, this Atalanta team had a good run last year. Do you see the same for them going this year?
Yeah, super disappointed in the way Atalanta's season has played out. You know, a lot of those problems with Ilicic and whatnot with his wife, and you know, he was one of their best players last season. And so, yeah, I had high hopes for them, especially the way that they play, the way that that their manager wants them to play, that open, expansive with the 3-back, you know, which isn't really a popular formation anymore. But I like that old school, you know, Serie A Italian style, you know, just get in there and you know, you might have to tackle a guy or two, you know, that's the kind of play style I like. And, you know, if Atalanta can, you know, focus and get their stuff together, I think they could pull a surprise win or two over some teams.
Liverpool, the Reds, comfortably did not need to win today. They tied Midtjylland 1-1 somewhere up in the Scandinavian countries. This Liverpool team is still at it, I think, Frank. Francisco, what do you think about this Liverpool team? I know they're not first in the Premier League, but they definitely did well in like the Champions League.
Wait, before I get into that, did you say you were a Liverpool fan?
I am a Liverpool fan. Someone has to be a Liverpool fan. For 10 years.
Let me ask you, what do you think about us and our hatred towards Liverpool?
You know, I get that a lot everywhere else. Everyone hates Liverpool. This is a time to be hated. I know when a person was a Man United fan back in the day, they were hated. But hey, you know, it's part of the glory, you know?
Part of the glory, okay. Just wanted to ask that real quick because I'm the biggest Liverpool hater. I'm starting to turn Drew into a Liverpool hater.
More than Barcelona, it can't be.
No. That's true. Not any more than Barcelona. Plus, I can't hate Liverpool because, you know, they gave us a Champions League. So why not?
You're welcome.
I do like Mo Salah. I do like Sadio Mane, and I think these guys, how explosive they are. You know, we've seen them tear it up in Premier League every year for the last 3 years now, and you know, with those two, I think Liverpool are always going to have a chance. You know, obviously with Virgil van Dijk being out, that's going to be like the biggest downer. But you know, I think the youngsters, like Klopp has been saying, I think the youngsters have pulled their strings, have pulled their weight, and they've actually been able to show up and be like, hey, Liverpool isn't just, you know, a strong 11. You know, there isn't just Virgil. You know, like we've got, you know, these young guys that could also, you know, pull their weight. And, you know, that's good for me. You know, I like seeing young players get in there and getting a chance whenever they can. So, yeah, I'm not going to hate too much on Liverpool, but I do think they're gonna, you know, get pretty far.
I agree. I mean, like the whole Virgil loss is going to be a issue. I can't say big issue. We'll see how they can handle without him, but I think Klopp definitely has some backup plans. Let's look at Group E, Chelsea. 14 points, Seville 13, KC Krasnodar 5, Rennes 1, Chelsea tie Krasnodar 1-1. Drew, your partner, is a Chelsea fan. This team looks good, by the way. Great striker. I've been hearing Chelsea fans saying they need a spark, but of course Pulisic is injured. What do you think about this Chelsea team?
I like this Chelsea team. Everyone except for Christian Pulisic. I don't want to say the nickname that I have for him.
I know. I hear it, but it's okay. We'll keep that off the air.
If you do want to know, you can go to my podcast.
On the Counter podcast. That's right.
But no, that's just a joke. I think, you know, scoring wise and going forward, they're really good. Defensively, they have been getting better, and in Premier League, that they have been showing that. And you know, I think that's mainly been due to Edouard Mendy, the goalkeeper, who, in my opinion, is great. You know, I haven't seen a goalkeeper block shots like that in a long time. You know, a goalie that actually goes and attacks the ball, tries to deflect the ball out of bounds, tries to catch the ball, and I think he's an excellent goalkeeper. And they did well to bring him in and recruit him. Obviously, Kepa, that was not a good deal, but you know, we'll move on from that.
You think so? I mean, I saw him one time. I mean, like his first game, and he was good. I thought,
maybe the first season he came in, you know, because of that motivation of being the highest most expensive goalkeeper, but definitely not anymore. Kai Havertz, I like him. Timo Werner, so fast. He's like, I don't know, those guys that don't look fast, but on the field you just boom smokes you. And
Exactly.
so yeah, I think these guys will come in clutch for them in the Champions League, especially Timo. I think if you keep feeding that guy the ball, he's just going to be scoring all day.
Before we move on to Seville, do you think Pulisic can be better than Donovan and like down the road, or you still need to see more?
Um, I think he has the potential to be better than him, but you're gonna have to win. You're gonna have to get
Sure.
trophies. You're gonna have to, and plus Donovan wasn't just like great at soccer. Like he was doing other stuff, and he does well with the media, and I think he was doing well to put his name out there, not just as a soccer player, but just be like, oh, I'm an American, and this is how because we need to see more of that. We need to see because I feel like Weston McKinney, all these, they're like embarrassed to be American. Like they don't
I
want to say that
agree.
they're American, and so we want to see that. We don't want to see like, oh yeah, at the press conferences like, oh yeah, we did a great match today, blah blah. Like, come on, man, give us something, give us some of that American culture, man.
I agree. I agree, and I think you're right about Landon Donovan. He definitely had a good media presence, and had some grit when it came to playing. Of course, he stayed healthy. He was healthy most of his career. Pulisic doesn't look good with the health
Yeah.
reports.
And Donovan was also playing with the whole like Mexican American thing, like
Yeah.
like going with the rivalry thing about Mexico versus U.S. Like he played into that like a lot.
Yeah.
He even went down and played in Liga MX.
Exactly. That's saying a lot, and we'll see if Pulisic could win a game in the Azteca Stadium, but it's a whole different podcast to talk about. Seville, second place, Francisco. They beat Rennes 3-1. I know they're known as the Europa League team, but do you think this team could go deep in this tournament?
Well, in the UEFA Super Cup when they played Bayern, I actually think they played pretty well. I don't think they played bad. And I think people just kind of like to hate on them because of the style that they like to play. It's I don't know. It's La Liga, I guess. They people just call it like boring. Boring soccer. Just pass the ball. But I think Sevilla does well to like tire out their opponents and break them down. And there's a history, with his coach in Real Madrid, with Julian Lopetegui. I'm not going to talk about what happened there, but I'm not going to praise him, but I think he's done well to set up this team with these players. I really like Diego Carlos, like just a guy who works and works and works, doesn't give up, and gives everything for the jersey. So yeah, I think they have a really strong base as well. And well, if they get matched up, against a harder team, I think that team gets overconfident. They're like, it's just Sevilla. I think Sevilla will be pulling more surprises than people think.
Group F, Borussia Dortmund finished up top with 13, Lazio at 10, Club Brugge at 8, Zenit at 1 point. Lazio beat Club Brugge 2-2, tied. They came in second in the group. Francisco, what do you think about this Lazio team?
Well, Lazio, sort of the underdog, I guess you could say. They just kind of running under the radar. And I'm pretty sure this is their first Champions League, right?
I got to double check. I
Lazio.
haven't seen them in a while. That I can tell you.
I think it is, but the they have what's his name, Cyril Mobile, who scores a lot. But I mean, other than that, their squad I feel like is probably one of the weakest out of all these teams. So yeah, that's not really too positive on them and what they have. Their bench, they don't really have a lot of depth in their squad. Pepe Reina defending your goal. I mean, he's
Wow.
pretty
That's
mistake prone as well.
that's old school Liverpool. Man, he's still
Yeah,
brown.
yeah, you know who he is.
Always a backup. Anyways, Borussia Dortmund, a good squad, has a lot of potential. They beat Zenit 2-1, but anyone could beat Zenit. What are your thoughts about this squad?
Yeah, Dortmund, I like them a lot. But for me, even though a lot of people don't think so, I think Lucien Favre, their coach, I think that's what's holding them back. I think this team they have a lot more in them than what their coach actually can get them to do on the field. I think if they get a different manager, And yeah, I know they're like doing well, but to me, I think that's what's holding them back. And as far as Champions League, I think that's what's going to hold them back is their manager. He's too like he's too tactical, right? Like he wants to break everything down tactically, and like these guys are young, these guys are like 19, 18. They're already in school, they don't need to be taught like a school teacher. Like this is how you do it. Like I think you just need to give these guys the freedom to go out there and do what they want. But I do like their system, the three back. I think they've been able to tweak it and perfect it, little by little. Sometimes going 3-4-1-2 or 3-1-4-2, whatever, depending on who they play. And I think the youngsters also they have there like Jude Bellingham and Gio Reyna, the American. Like these guys are it's just a matter of time before these guys pop off.
Let's look at Group G. Juventus beat the Catalan Giants 3-0. What do you think about that match and Juventus prospects?
Well, if you didn't know, now you will know. I am the biggest Cristiano Ronaldo fan in the world, probably.
Well, a lot of Madrid fans are also Juventus fans for some reason.
For some reason. Who knows? I wouldn't call myself a Juventus fan, but I definitely call myself a Ronaldo fan. And anytime Ronaldo goes and tears up the Camp Nou, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be celebrating. And I think with Ronaldo in the Champions League, we already know that it's his competition. It's his place to shine. It's as soon as he hears that anthem and he walks out in the field, that blood is running through his veins and he's going, and nothing can stop him. Nothing has stopped him in Champions League. He has literally won it. Whenever there's I guess like a strong team, behind him, and this team may have what it takes to go all the way. And if they get close, whatever semifinals, whatever, Ronaldo is going to be the go-to guy. Like he's going to be up top, penalties, whatever. He's going to be the guy to go to. This
could be their run. We'll see what happens. Messi's last dance. What do you think so far?
Oh. I'm not a Messi fan, all right, but Barcelona still somehow got more points than Real Madrid, so there is that in Champions League, right? So they got 15, and Madrid only got 11, 10. So I'll give them
10
that.
Points, yeah.
And they have not really the best squad. Yeah, you have Messi, but I mean that doesn't mean anything. I think they have the pieces, right? But it's just they just can't get. I don't know what's going on. All the extra stuff with Koeman and the president. Who do they even have a president right now? Who's the president of Barcelona? I don't know.
Good question. Might be some weird Catalan name.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't really have a lot of hope for them just because of everything that has been going on with them. How they treated Messi. He wanted to leave and then they forced him to stay. He hasn't really been scoring. And it's the guy you guys are relying on. So not really looking good for Barcelona.
You think Messi will leave to Man City or stick around if Barcelona proves him that he should stay?
No, I think he's going to leave.
Yeah, I think
no
so.
matter what.
Yeah.
I think he told us he decided that he's going to leave and they just didn't let him. And he wasn't going to sue because it's the team of his dreams, right? He's not going to sue the team that he loves. So I think, just bad. Barcelona just doesn't know how to run their squad right now.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. So you would think Man City might be the likely place to go for him?
I think so. I mean, I don't really know. I think he wants to go play with Pep. That's what I feel like. But also, I feel like the media has also been the one to throw Man City as like the number one. I mean, who knows where he might go to PSG. He might go to,
I've heard
Qatar
PSG. I've heard that rumor. Yeah.
Wherever they offer him more money. In China, who knows?
That could happen. But I don't see him going to China or to Argentina. I think he has a lot left in the tank for one of the greatest soccer players in the world. Group H, Paris came first. RB Leipzig second. Man United disqualified, 9 points. Istanbul, Basaksehir. Let's go for the first one. Man United had to win this game. They lost against RB Leipzig. What happened there, Francisco?
Uh, well, good question. What did happen to Man United? Um, yeah, it's to me. I don't really see this Man United squad as like a big six team right now. You know, especially the way that they handle themselves on the field. Like they don't play like a big six team. They let the opponent. You know, they wait for the opponent, and they don't actually react until it's too late. 2-0, or you have to make a comeback. Like in Premier League, they made that comeback
Right.
against West Ham. But not in Champions League. Doesn't work like that in Champions League. You can't always make comebacks. And yeah, I think Ole, his job. I think that is a manager whose job is on the line. And it wouldn't surprise me to see him out here in the winter.
You think Pochettino might take that spot?
I think that's a good candidate for the job. Yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm thinking. I think he's run out. I mean, not running out of ideas, but I don't think he has that grit. He just, I don't know, something about him. I mean, he was good at the beginning, but it feels like he just kind of right now he's running on fumes right now. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
PSG 5-1 against Istanbul. A PSG without Cavani, but they have Mbappe and Neymar. Is this the year for PSG, Francisco?
No, it's not. I'm gonna give you a straight answer. Um, Look, I'll be honest. I have a little bias because here's another player I don't like, Neymar. All right, I like Mbappe, but Neymar, I just can't handle this guy. All right, uh, he dives all the time. He complains all the time. He's a hypocrite because he'll complain about stuff and then he'll go and do it. Like he'll get kicked and then he'll go and kick somebody. And he tries to push like this whole Black Lives Matter and don't be racist stuff. And he's done so many homophobic stuff. And the press is like, no, we're not going to talk about that. But anyways, back to PSG.
The drama at
I
PSG.
think, yeah, the drama, right? And I think going forward, Tuchel, I don't really think he's a great manager. I don't think he's tactically great. I think it's more just the players that he has, especially Mbappe. I think teams see him in the starting lineup and they're like, oh man, how are we going to stop this guy? He's one of the best right now, and I think it's more to do with who he has, the players that he has, and obviously PSG has an endless fund of money and they could bring in whoever they want, and I think that's what's just making Tuchel look good. And as far as their chances going forward, I think they could get past the quarterfinal, but that's about it. In the semis, like always.
That's fair enough. Now, Neymar did say that he would like to play with Messi again. Do you think the PSG rumor got stronger after he said that?
I mean, to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if either PSG tries to sign Messi or if Barca tries to sign Neymar. So one of those deals.
Messi's like, I'm only staying if you bring on Neymar. I can see that happening.
Bring him, yeah. If you spend 200 and 300 million now.
Oh gosh, that's crazy.
But, I think that that it's more in the media. I feel like that's playing into that stuff. Like trying to clickbait and whatnot. To be honest, I don't think they will play together ever again. There's just too much money there, like going one way or going the other way. If they ever want to meet at the same club, no club's gonna have that much money.
Too much. Had to get a lot of bank loans.
Yeah, exactly.
For that to happen. So, Francisco, now seeing the group stage done, can you make your prediction? Who makes it to the final and who will win it?
Well, I think I'm gonna stick with my prediction from the beginning of the season. I'm going to pick a Bayern, stick with the Bayern. I think they have the strongest, probably, lineup. And I think explosiveness, and everything aside, I think they're just consistently out here to win. And, the philosophy that they built there at Bayern is just win, win, win. I think going off of last season and that Champions League win, I think they could do double.
Wow. There you go. And who will they meet in the final?
Can't
be Madrid. It can't be Madrid.
It can't be Madrid. Um,
They could.
it could. Let's see. Let me pick a team here.
Pick a
Let me
random
pick
team.
a team here. Just any team. You know
RB
what?
Lipstick.
Let's go with Juventus. Why not?
That's not a bit.
Juve.
Juventus and Bayern
Juve
Munich.
Bayern in the
Wow.
final.
But the thing is, if I see Ronaldo going to that final, I don't see him losing it.
Yeah, right.
That's just
That's
I don't
true.
know. It just I mean it just
That's what I said,
doesn't
too.
jive. Doesn't jive.
I just contradicted myself after saying that.
Yeah, I know,
But it
I
doesn't
know,
matter.
I know. But hey, it could happen. Bayern Munich might, could take him on. Anyways, it is our Champions League recap of the group stage, and of course, looking forward to it. I believe the second round begins until March or February. No, March, right?
I think it's early March.
I would say early March. Yeah, from experience. So for sure, we have a few weeks that we'll be looking. 2 months of straight Premier League and La Liga and Serie A. Before we close the show, I want to hear your opinion over the Premier League. Right now, it's Tottenham, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Leicester in the top 4. Do you see Tottenham winning the Premier League?
This is going to be a little hard to explain because I'm a fan of Tottenham, right? I like Spurs.
Uh-huh.
But I wouldn't say I'm like a supporter, right? Because I watch the Premier League like overall, right? But I kind of swing towards Spurs. I don't know. It doesn't really make a lot of sense.
That's right. You're a La Liga. You're a Madrid fan. You can pick any team in the Premier League and say, I mean, this is the team that I like, but I'm not a fan. I won't buy their jersey.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm a fan of Real Madrid and I'm a fan of Chivas Guadalajara from Mexico. You know, like those two teams, like that for sure. I can't deny that I'm a fan of them. But Spurs, and I'm not like trying to be like, you pick them when they win or whatever. Because look, I'm gonna be honest right here, right now with you. I don't think they could pull the Premier League title win.
Wow.
I think they have, a really strong squad, especially, when you have Harry Kane and Son, but I think the depth of their squad is not there. They have Davinson Sanchez and what's his name? The other center back. I can't remember his name right now.
I will pull that up for
you. The defensive partnership, I just don't see it there. And for me, honestly, Lloris, even though a lot of people give him a lot of credit for being a good goalie, I think he's really mistake prone.
Eric Dyer.
Dyer, who's actually not a center back technically.
Correct.
He's converted. He's a CDM / center back. He can play there, but I think it's mostly just due to his size. But he's really dumb, right? Like he's not a smart soccer player.
He's confused on the field.
Yeah, and also Sissoko, who was a player that at the begining of the season they were like, bro, Mourinho doesn't even want you, and also the other guy, what's his name?
Tafanga.
Yeah.
Taganga. Sorry about that.
Yeah. No, not Taganga, because he's a defender. The guy who's a midfielder.
Let me see.
Can't remember his name.
There's a few of them here. I'm looking it up right now. Harry Winks, Dembele. Let me see. I'm gonna pull up the Chelsea match. I got the FOTMob app. I'm not sure if you use that one. That's my favorite soccer app.
Which one?
FOT Mob.
Oh, FOT Mob. Oh, okay. No, I just use Sofascore.
Conte. No. Sorry, he's Chelsea. My bad. Sissoko, Halberg,
and Dombele. There we go.
Yes, and Dombele. My bad.
Dombele. That's
I pronounced him wrong.
He was another player that Mourinho was like, I don't like you and blah blah, and he gave him the whole Mourinho treatment and whatever. And I think right now there's kind of like this honeymoon period still with Mourinho and Spurs. I think this guy has actually convinced us that we could win the league. But I think there's going to come a point in time when then either Liverpool or City or whatever starts closing that gap. And then, I think we're going to – what I do like is that overall there's a title race, right? No team is running away with it.
True, yeah, because a year ago Liverpool was already clear to win it, almost in the clear to win it,
Yeah, basically, yeah.
They're
By
like
the time
10
the
points
center
up
came,
or
they're
20
like,
or
yeah,
something.
might as well just give them the title now.
So
We know they're gonna win it.
yeah, I don't know if you watched the Amazon Prime All or Nothing with Tottenham, but
Yeah,
Mourinho
yeah, I did.
said to his players, "Guys, you get like you have to stop being nice and stop being respectful. You got to be a-holes." It's probably working
Yeah,
out.
yeah, it's working out right now for them. That's for sure.
Well, that
But
is
we'll see. We'll see
yeah,
though.
we'll see. It's still early, but I think Mourinho is able to pull them through at least an FA Cup or maybe some Caribou Cup. They need to win a trophy because they haven't done that in I think 20 years or more. Anyways, that is our Premier League update. Predictions tonight: USA versus El Salvador in Miami. Who you got, Francisco?
USA. What? What? I didn't even know that game was going
It's a
on.
friendly, very very low key friendly.
What? A friendly in the middle of a Champions League game week?
It's weird.
Is that even possible?
It's U.S. soccer, right? You never know with
What?
these guys.
Who are they going to be playing with?
I don't know. I gotta see. It's probably a very BC team. I mean,
Yeah, I was going to say it's like
I don't think the
U19
European
guys?
teams are there. Probably MLS players, if I had to guess,
Oh, that's true.
because
Yeah,
they're
it's gonna
offline. Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be MLS players. Huh. Wait, who did you say? El Salvador?
USA versus El Salvador.
I'm going to
El
say
Salvador.
the US takes it 1-0.
1-0 El Salvador. Unbelievable. And poll question of the day on our Twitter account: what is your favorite Christmas card? The one with like the picture, the Christmas letter, like the gift card, or the regular mail card, postcard? Favorite type of Christmas card?
I like the ones that you open and it plays a little jingle. You
I
know that one?
Yeah, I guess you could say it's a mix of Christmas letter and photo card. That's a good one. It's all tied, but the postcard at 33%. So you could definitely vote on that on the Sportscast Twitter at the Sportscast1. Francisco, what is the best way to reach you and also to know about your podcast?
Yeah, so if you want to reach me, the best place is Twitter. My username is @FranciscoBCP. For the podcast, the best place you could go and send us a message or whatever. We have basically all the social medias, right? But I think Twitter works really well, and that's on the Counter Pod. Also follow our YouTube page and our Patreon. We have everything.
That's right, and that's something that you guys got to check it out. They go really deep in soccer, and you can reach us here at the Sportscast at the Sportscast1 or at the Sportscast.net for the latest and greatest. Tomorrow we have the Victor Rocho Show. They'll be going some NBA stuff, what happened to James Harden, and of course some NFL talk and all this the scheduling and everything else. But wow, what a soccer podcast, Francisco! Wow, this is really really grateful for you coming on. What do you think is going to happen in the month of December? I mean, I mean, in the Premier League, we'll see more fans this month, but are we going to see a good month when it comes to soccer this month?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to have tons of soccer. You know, schedules are going to be full. There's going to be games because I think, international break is coming up, and then it goes right back into the season. And I think, wintertime is when it gets to 3 games every third day. There's basically going to be a game, with the cup tournaments and whatnot as well. And, they like to schedule those games in there because they know people are going to be watching. They're at home for Christmas and whatnot because Christmas is canceled this year.
Yeah, apparently, man. You can't go out and you can't go to pubs or anything.
Might as well watch Premier League since I can't go to the pub on the 24th, right?
The 26th. And, of course, La Liga is also going to let fans in, right? Or what have you heard about the La Liga?
I think it's in the works, but I think that it's not until January 1st or 2021.
Wow.
I think is when they're looking at doing that. I haven't actually read up on it, like the most up-to-date information, but last time I checked, I think they're going to wait until next year.
Yeah, and for the Premier League, it depends on the club and where they're at, the location.
Yeah.
And I know Liverpool has some fans and Tottenham too, so we'll see how things go with fans because I miss it. I think having like the fake crowd noise is kind of good, but it's not authentic. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah, and I think people forgot about it already.
Exactly.
They're not even paying attention to the fake noise.
Well, Francisco, it was a really pleasure for you coming on to the Sportscast, and soccer is only growing here in America, and the best is yet to come. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me, Santiago.